Day 1170 of the Russian army's three-day special military operation in Ukraine. Russian missile attacks claim more victims. As we predicted, the truce announced by Putin in connection with Victory Day celebrations in Moscow turned out to be a lie. Russian troops are attacking all along the front lines. Artillery shelling and bombing raids are continuing. In 7 hours and 46 minutes of the ceasefire, there have already been 3 attacks. I do not know what else there is to say. The facts speak for themselves. Russian promises have a habit of turning out this way. This also applies to Putin's supposed readiness for negotiations, a ceasefire and peace. Details of these talks have just been revealed by United States Vice President J.D. Vance, who, in an interview at a security conference in Washington, made it clear that the Kremlin was trying to impose its own narrative on conditions on both Ukraine and the United States.
So I wouldn't say that the Russians are uninterested in bringing this thing to a resolution. What I would say is right now, the Russians are asking for a certain set of requirements, a certain set of concessions in order to end the conflict. We think they're asking for too much.
This means one thing above all. Washington, and most likely Kiev as well, do not accept the conditions set by the Kremlin. It also implies that, contrary to the narrative of some of the US administration's critics, Trump does not intend at all to bring an end to the war at any cost. Ukraine's sovereignty is not on the table.
Ukrainians matter a lot. They're the other side. They're the other party, at least to the direct conflict. And we have to ask, what is the Ukrainian? What do they need in order to bring this conflict to a successful completion?
Washington also sees the turmoil on the geopolitical stage. It sees the game Moscow is playing. The Chinese president is in the Russian capital now for the Kremlin's Victory Day celebrations on the 9th of May. The Americans are well aware of the significance of such gestures by Beijing.
Last week, our soldiers captured the first Chinese citizens fighting on the front, fighting for Russia. As of now, we have information that at least several hundred Chinese nationals are fighting as part of Russia's occupation forces. This means Russia is clearly trying to prolong the war, even by using Chinese lives.
This completely changes how the game is played, as do certain surprising displays of force. This morning, North Korea fired a series of ballistic missiles. The details are being analyzed between Japan, the United States and South Korea. One of the missiles flew about 800 kilometers at a maximum altitude of 100 kilometers. According to intelligence services, Pyongyang was putting on a show for its client. We are currently analyzing the background and intentions behind these launches. However, it is believed that the missile launches may have been intended to test the performance and flight stability of missiles intended for export. Most likely, these missiles will go to Russia. For months, Kiev has been publishing photos and footage of missile debris with which the Kremlin attacks Ukraine. An increasing number of them include missiles of North Korean origin. Less than 2 weeks ago, Pyongyang officially admitted that it is actively supporting Russia in the war in Ukraine. So far, the number of casualties among North Korean soldiers is estimated at about 4,700, including about 600 killed. This makes it clear that the Kremlin has not so much a problem with the army itself and conscription as with training them quickly and sending them to the front. It is much easier, for the right price, to invite allies from Beijing, Pyongyang, or even Tehran into the war. And this completely changes the rules of the game, which Washington may have to join.